welcome to Calvary Chapel Christian School's virtual open house. We are so excited that you are able to join us this evening. I'm the principal, Becky Cannon, and I'm joined with our senior pastor, Pastor John Thomas. We plan on hopefully giving you a wonderful overview of what the school offers this evening. We have many of our teachers here, as well as some great videos and pictures throughout the evening. Also, you can type in live questions on the comment box on YouTube or our Facebook account if you would like to ask any of the teachers, Pastor John or myself, a question. You could type it in the chat box, or you can even call in your questions by calling 724-785-2777. And Parker and Wes in the back will be taking care of your questions and relaying them to us. Now, before we get into the evening and meeting our teachers, a little overview about Calvary Chapel Christian School. We have been around since 1996, was our very first year. We opened as a preschool, and we started to add elementary grades in 1999. So currently, we serve 3-year-old preschool students through 12th grade. So we're excited to be a full-service school. We also are very excited to continue to be able to offer our half-price tuition for families and students in kindergarten through 12th grade who've never attended CCCS. We do recognize that it is difficult for families who are not used to paying tuition to have to pay tuition. So a nice way to kind of work your way into that is that half-price tuition. And of course, another question we often get is, what about busing? Do school districts bus? They do. They absolutely do. Brownsville area, Beth Center, Uniontown, Bell Vernon, Brownsville, Albert Gallatin, Uniontown, all of those districts do bus. You can call the school or log on to our website for a complete listing. So before we get into the questions with our preschool teachers, which we are going to start, we just want to remind you that if you are going to be typing in a question, maybe you have a kindergartner and you're really excited and you have a question, you want to type that question in at the top of that teacher, because we are on about a 1 to 2 minute delay. So let me introduce to you our preschool teachers. We're very excited that they are here with us this evening. We have Miss Nicole and Miss Kiera. Hello, ladies.
Hi, hello.
And we are so excited that you are here. We just wanted to ask you a few questions. So I guess I will start. How long have you been a preschool teacher here?
I've almost been here a year now. I started in August.
Okay,
so
first year for you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my 6th year teaching preschool here.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about the daily schedule in preschool?
Well, we usually when they come in, they'll either have like morning work or journals, and then we go over to Miss Kiera's room and we have worship and Bible together. And then we separate again, and we do, my classroom runs, we do circle time, and then we do language and reading, and then we have snack time, and then also we will have centers, so like their playtime, and then we'll have math and story time, and by that time it's usually time to go home.
Okay. Well, and this year, Mr. Cole, you must be excited because we're changing our program a little, right?
Yes, 5
Previous
days.
years we were 3 days a week, but now we're offering 5 days a week. Why do you think that is an important change?
I think that will help my 4-year-olds get ready for kindergarten.
Okay.
They'll get used to coming every day, and it'll help getting more learning done.
Yeah, right, yeah. Well, I guess going from 3 days a week, half a day, into kindergarten 5 days all day, yeah.
It's a big
5
change.
days. It would be, yes.
So tell us a little bit about the curriculum that you use. You like it? Do you enjoy it? Does it work for you? Tell us about the curriculum.
I love the curriculum. My curriculum for the 3-year-old classroom is surrounded around a big red barn, so we have lots of puppets that help us throughout our preschool day. We have Sunny Sheep that helps us with our calendar time. We have Pinky Pig that helps us with our letter every week, and the kids get really into it and love it as well. The curriculum is great because it integrates the Lord into everything, and it has really cute ideas for snack time, and it's great.
And Miss Nicole, why do you think that our preschool program stands out among other programs in the area?
I think that it does because you can come here and like it feels like a family, and they you grow really close to the kids, so and they love coming, and I love having them. So.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
So, can you share with us a favorite student memory since you've been teaching?
I think this year has just been great for me just because it was my first year, and I had a really great class. I had 14, so there was a lot of them, but just seeing how much they love talking about God and their questions, and it would just this year was really altogether was one of my favorite years of teaching. So.
And I must say, Pastor John, that many times when I would walk into her, she had 14 4-year-olds. That's quite a class. I actually offered her an assistant. She felt like she didn't want that or need that. She really loved having full charge of her class, and she was amazing. I mean, they were always doing hands-on projects. She just had a really great group. They did extremely well. So,
We both had a really, really good preschool class this year.
Yeah,
they were great.
So. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, Parker and Wes, do we have any questions yet?
We do not have any questions at this time.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we take a look at what a typical preschool classroom looks like? Okay, now that you've got the opportunity to meet our lovely preschool teachers, we're going to go look at their classrooms. And the first classroom we're going to visit is Miss Nicole's classroom. She's going to show us around the room. So let's go check it out.
Hi, I'm Miss Nicole, and this is pre-K 4-year-olds. I have the kids that will be going to kindergarten in the fall. These are their lockers. When they come in, they put their stuff away, and they go to their seats. And then this up here is where we do circle time and calendar and the days of the week. And that's our teaching tree. And then here are their seats. They have their own pencil boxes and crayons. And then over here, we have our math and our writing area. This is all their math stuff. And then over here is our dramatic play area. And then over there we have our block area. And this is our reading area. They can go in the tent and read a book. And this is where we have our story time. And we do have 2 bathrooms, so it makes it really convenient for us. They can just go to the bathroom and they're right there so we can see them.
Nice.
And that's my classroom.
Thank you so much, Miss Nicole. Bye. Bye. Okay, now we are going to head down into Miss Kiera's classroom. As a little side note, when you bring your students in the morning, it's really handy. These are the preschool entry doors, and our security officer, Grant, will be here to greet you and welcome you in and drop off your students. Keep us safe. Now, Miss Kiera's classroom. So this is Miss Kiera, and she teaches first year or 3-year-olds.
Hi everyone, as Mrs. Cannon said, I am Miss Kiera, and this is our 3-year-old preschool classroom at Calvary Chapel Christian School. When your student first arrives in the morning, we don't actually use the lockers in my classroom just because the 3-year-olds had trouble opening them and they would get their fingers pinched. So they all have a cubby with their name on it, and they put their backpacks and snacks in there in the morning. When they first arrive, we have a little bit of playtime in the morning, and then we have worship time and Bible. And then we move on up this way in our classroom, and this is our table time where we have language, where we learn a letter for the week, and we talk about our color and our shapes and our numbers. We have math time and language time every single day in our classroom, in both preschool classrooms. We have snack time at these tables as well. It looks a little bit different than it normally does right now because I did take a lot of stuff down. We normally have our calendar there, the alphabet is up here. I did a Mary Poppins theme last year and there were umbrellas hanging from the ceiling, but unfortunately I did take that down. But this is our big red barn. So this is what the 3-year-old classroom is mainly surrounded around. with the colors, the numbers, everything. So we have Hattie Hen that lives in our big red barn, Sunny Sheep, Pinky Pig, who helps us with our letter, and they're puppets, and they come out and help the kids learn our new letter for that day or the month. And then our calendar is normally there, and we do calendar time and circle time every single day as well. And then over here is our testing and art center. So my favorite thing about being a preschool teacher is doing fun art projects with the kids, where we do sensory art and get really messy. So we do a lot of that here so that it's easy cleanup. We do, like Miss Nicole said, have bathrooms for each classroom that are right there. And we also have a sink in both of our classrooms, which makes it extra helpful and nice for doing art projects. We do testing 3 times a year. I do journal time as well every day in our classroom at these tables, but we have testing 3 times a year to make sure that your child is progressing from the beginning of the school year to the end. So yeah, that is our classroom. Thank you. Bye.
Well, we certainly hope you enjoyed that preschool video of the classrooms. And oh, if only we could have showed you the classroom with children. We do miss our students so much. Now we're going to transition into the elementary school years. And we are so excited to have you meet a few of our teachers. Our elementary consists of kindergarten through 5th grade.
Wow. So, Heather House, so how long have you been teaching at Calvary Chapel Christian School?
I'm going into my 4th year as the kindergarten teacher here at CCCS.
Wow.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your educational background?
Yes, I received my teaching certification from California University of Pennsylvania, certified to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students. And just a few years ago, I obtained my master's degree as a reading specialist, also from California University.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Well, congratulations on your master's.
Thank you.
I bet that is a much needed degree teaching kindergarten and reading.
It is. It helps out a lot.
Yes, yes. And actually, we probably should share with the parents as well that you are a wonderful resource to us in the elementary, because we often call on those skills with you to help struggling readers to come up with a plan.
Yes,
we
and I'm
do.
happy to do that. It definitely helps out in a lot of different areas, so I'm very blessed to have it.
Yeah. Well, why don't we take a look at your classroom at the next video, and maybe you can share a little bit with our parents how it's set up. Well, we're back, and now we are going to go visit Mrs. House right here in the kindergarten classroom. She's going to tell us a little bit about how this classroom works.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Mrs. House. I teach kindergarten here at CCCS, and welcome to our classroom. We'll start right up here first. We have our Hoppy helpers. In the front, we have jobs that we switch each week with our students to teach them responsibility. So their name goes up on the lily pad, and whatever their job is, they're responsible for handling that week. We move this way. This is the main focus of our classroom as our students are placed in the room. I like to try different configurations with the seating a lot. So your child will not have the same neighbor all year because social interaction is so important. So I change things up a lot, which is fun, keeps it fun for me and for them. This is where we do our phonics, our high frequency words, put up our work that we're going to be working on for the day. We do our handwriting here. Move over our charts that we put up, our characters that we meet throughout the year in our phonics and reading curriculum, some blends that we've been working on. This is our math area. This is actually where we start our day. We come back from chapel with K through 5. We come back here and we do calendar time. We go over the date, the days of the week, the months of the year. We talk about the weather. We make predictions, talk about the seasons. And of course, we have Farmer Brown here with his counting. And I like to keep this handy so I can cover up whenever I want to see what they know. So we move over to the left here. We have our birthdays and of course classroom rules. And if you notice up around the top of the wall, we have our numbers, colors, shapes. And we also have a caterpillar friend who helps us count the number of days that we've been in kindergarten. So that extends us well past 100 when we're doing our counting. Over here are birthdays that we recognize for everyone. I keep this little table here, it's kind of my work area so that I can exchange things quickly And back here we have our toys along the wall. They take them out during playtime, free play, which we have at either carpet or at their desks. Again, my area where I work, which I hardly ever sit down because I'm always up and moving. But over here is our reading chair. This is where I sit to read to the students during our lessons and or story time. They have puzzles and games over here on the shelves that they use, and of course their mailboxes where they put their folders each day when they come in and where they pick up their papers at the end of the day to take home. And finally over here, this is our reading center, reading circle area where the students come over in small groups. I sit over there. We have a whiteboard behind that we can use. We have frogtastic readers over here so that they're in their reading groups. They know who they read with. And over here we have our bookcase full of books that they can come over and use to look at, just to continue to enhance those reading skills that they develop here in kindergarten. So that is our kindergarten classroom. Thank you for visiting us today and have a great day.
Wow, thank you, Mrs. House, for showing us your classroom.
You're very welcome.
That was wonderful. So, a question probably many parents ask, what does their student need to know when entering kindergarten?
Kindergarten has changed so much, I think, through the years. The best thing that you can do to prepare your child for kindergarten is to help them to be able to recognize their letters. You know, we learn them by sight and sound. So if they already know them by sight, putting the sound with them makes it a little easier. Okay. And of course, we start reading in kindergarten, so that all just builds that foundation for reading, and that foundation is so important to help them to be successful. Numbers, 1 to 20, counting, even skip counting. We work on those things, but those are like the basics that if they already have those basic building blocks, we can move along quite well from there.
What about maybe the family who is out there and maybe they have that 5-year-old who has no interest in letters? They want to play outside all day because that's their favorite thing to do. Will they be okay starting kindergarten without all that previous knowledge, or maybe not even attended preschool, which is rare?
I think they'll be just fine. Okay. That outside play and those things are just as important. Mm-hmm. Those fine motor skills and learning how, to interact with other children if they're playing with friends or cousins or brothers and sisters. Those are all important skills coming into kindergarten. So I think they'll be just fine.
Great.
And we'll get them where they need to be.
Yeah. Yes, you will.
So what is your favorite part of the day as a kindergarten teacher? I mean, you obviously spend a lot of time with them with the curriculum and working with them, but, what is your favorite time of the day?
You know what? There are so many, it's hard to choose. When they come in the morning, they're so excited and they always have something to tell me. So I never know what they're going to say. So every day in kindergarten is an absolute adventure. So I look forward to that. Another favorite time is Bible time, of course. Just to see their eyes light up. And my favorite question sometimes is that real? Is that true? Did that really happen? And it just, it really puts it into perspective to see it through their eyes. And of course, the first time they read, I've taught kindergarten for 6 years now, going into my 7th, and the first time they read, I get goosebumps every time because it's just amazing what they can do.
Yeah.
So I can't pick just one.
To see. What a neat gift to see.
It is.
And our last question for you, I guess, can you maybe share with our parents what a student will learn in kindergarten?
Oh, goodness. There's a lot. First, they're going to know who Jesus is, if they don't already. We start in chapel every morning. So they will definitely know who Jesus is if they don't coming in. We come back, they're going to learn about the calendar, the months of the year, the days of the week. They're going to learn math, counting. We do from counting to skip counting, addition, subtraction, patterns, shapes, numbers, lots of things, even into what could be considered fractions. It's pretty cool. and it's amazing what they can learn. Phonics and reading, they're going to learn their letters, sounds, blends, digraphs, all that stuff. They're going to amaze moms and dads when
Yeah.
they come home and, they look at something and, oh, that says whatever it says. And they're going to be like, what? Where did you learn to do that? And I think that's the biggest thing is that they just learn to read and they turn from these little almost babies to
Yeah.
children who are
To
reading.
readers.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's, again, gives me goosebumps.
Well, and I
Yes.
think one of my favorite things about kindergarten too is that the students they memorize a Bible verse for every letter of the alphabet.
Yes, 26 in
And
all.
so by the end of
Yes.
kindergarten, they have memorized
Yes.
all those verses,
Yes.
which is pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Again, what they can do.
Yeah.
And we learn that in our Bible class.
Yeah.
That small children can do amazing things.
They can.
And not only the academics, but again, those social interactions with
Mm-hmm.
one another are so important. Where you see a child come in who doesn't know how to socially interact with
Mm-hmm.
other children, and to just see them blossom in front of you from that's my toy to
Right.
here, you use the toy, and they learn to share and
Yeah.
they learn to be sympathetic, and they just change so much in that
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed to be a part of that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're blessed that you're there and that you're doing that. So
Thank you.
So I guess let me ask in the back, Parker and Wes, do we have any questions or comments for kindergarten?
Yes, we do. The first question here is, will tuition pricing be changing for preschool since it'll be going to 5 days a week now?
Preschool question.
Oh, that was a preschool question? Could you repeat that? I'm sorry, we couldn't hear you.
Absolutely. Will tuition pricing be changing for preschool since it'll be going to 5 days now?
Yes, I can answer that question. Yes. So the preschool program, you can still select the 3-day-a-week program, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but we are also offering a 5-day-a-week program, Monday through Friday. So if you choose the 5-day, then the tuition will go up. It is a little more than the 3-day program. Yes. And they can find those exact prices on the school website at cccsbrownsville.org.
All right, we do have another question. Is there something that can be done if the preschool child has older siblings with now going 5 days a week? The wait to get in seems to cause a lot of anxiety.
Oh, I think they're talking about that 15-minute time period in the morning. We typically like to give a 15-minute difference between the elementary students arriving and the preschool students just for safety concerns and traffic. But I think that's something we certainly can discuss to help. It is hard for those little preschoolers to drop their sibling off and then have to wait 15 minutes. So maybe that's something we can certainly try to address. Thank you.
And a couple of comments, particularly for Mrs. House. We have a comment that says, Mrs. House is a wonderful teacher. My son loves her. Another comment is, Mrs. House is an amazing reading teacher and has taught my children to love reading from an early age. So congratulations, Mrs. House.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. Thank you.
All right.
I think we have a parent testimony, right? So we'll watch a parent testimony video.
During the summer of 2017, I was scrambling to find a preschool for my son. I saw that CCCS was soon to be opening the facility in Brownsville, but had no idea when or what the school was all about. After having no luck in finding a preschool that was still taking students, someone suggested calling CCCS. Upon calling, I was immediately impressed by the person who answered the phone, Miss Tiffany. She was very informative and so friendly. I made the trip to the school the next day to get the paperwork. In person, it was even better than I had anticipated. Throughout that school year, we experienced many positive interactions. My son's knowledge grew and he loved going to school. In March, when it was that time for him to register for kindergarten, his father and I figured we would just send him to public school as he and I had attended. Upon taking him to register at the local school district, something just didn't seem right. The registration was overloaded. I had found out that there would be over 8 different kindergarten classes and teachers. This gave me an uneasy feeling. I didn't express these feelings to my son's father, however. These feelings sat with me for over a month, and in early May, we finally received my son's official registration packet. His name was spelled wrong. I know that may seem just like an error, however, mixed with my already uneasy feelings, this pushed me to finally express how I felt to his father. Turns out he was having the same feelings. We didn't want our child to be just a number and to get lost in the sea of other students. At that point, we decided that we should have re-enrolled him at CCCS. What I skipped is, because we had made the decision to send him to public school, we failed to sign the student intent form and the kindergarten class was full. On his last day of preschool, I headed into Mrs. Cannon's office to plead with her to please allow him to attend the following year. As I nervously walked into her office and began my case, she looked at me very confused. It wasn't even a question to her to allow him to continue to attend. She said they would love to have him stay. What I hope to portray to you is that this is more than quote unquote just a school, and your child will never be quote unquote just a number here. Everyone is involved and welcome in all activities. The staff treats your child or children as their own. They make it a point to know you. If you're looking for all of the above mentioned things, this is the place to send your child for their education. I promise it's like no other school you have attended or visited. Thank you to the staff and the teachers for all that you do. Sincerely, parents of a soon-to-be 2021 second grader.
All right, thank you so much. Welcome back. And we are transitioning into 3rd grade in the elementary with Mrs. Julie Bundy. Now, we certainly would have loved to have had every single teacher here tonight because all of them are wonderful. And it was very hard to pick which teachers. Some said, no way, I don't want to do it. But we are blessed for those that are here. So in order to keep it a timely event, we tried to kind of hit the beginning, the middle, and the end for you. So this is Mrs. Bundy, and she teaches 3rd grade. Well, you teach 3rd grade in the morning, yes, and you teach a 2nd and 3rd grade combined classroom in the afternoon.
Yes, I do.
Right? So this is your first year. Can you tell us a little bit about maybe your background, your educational background?
Sure. I attended California University of Pennsylvania. I got a bachelor's degree in elementary education, so I'm also certified K through 6. I have taught previously in Virginia, 6 years in Virginia, 4 years in public school, 2 years in a private Montessori school. Okay. So I've had many experiences.
Yes.
Wonderful experiences teaching.
That's great. That's wonderful.
So, since this is your first year here, what are your first impressions? You know, the facility, the staff, the parents, the kids. Kind of what, you know, especially coming from your background. Come here. This is a whole kind of new environment. Tell us a little bit about your first impressions and.
Okay. When I first came into the school, first I was impressed by the facilities. Our school is huge, really, compared to what I've been in. The classrooms are wonderful. They're spacious enough that we're able to do lots of group work. We're allowed to we can do experiments. We can, do pretty much anything that we want to do because we have enough space. And I've had to be in some tiny rooms in my day. And so we were unable to do the fun things that you like to do to get the kids excited about learning. The staff, they're wonderful. We're all friends. We've become friends. We can come to each other if we need support. They're right there with you. Mrs. Cannon is awesome. I can come to her at any time and say, hey, I need help with this. And she's right there ready and willing to help. So it really has been a wonderful place. I felt like I belonged from the beginning.
Yeah.
I see your husband's always lending a hand here. I walked in the other day. Well, he's on a ladder up there fixing something in the ceiling, and so he's like very much a part of this too, with you and supporting
Yes.
you, and that's great.
Yes, I really wanted a projector, and we got it in there. So
Yes.
it's amazing.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, great tool.
So third grade is typically what's considered a transition year, right, for students,
It
because they're
is.
going from that early elementary environment, more group play, and not maybe being required to memorize or learn as many facts. Into that upper elementary. So what are some things that you do in your classroom to help those students transition?
Okay. Well, yes, third grade is typically your transition year. That's the year where you go from learning to read to reading to learn. So there's lots of application of skills that you've already gotten in those lower elementary years, kindergarten, first, second grade. I really gauge my teaching to the children. So, it could change from year to year. I may be able to move faster through the curriculum based on the children that I have. If they're ready, then we move quicker. If I have children that are, could be a little behind or even hesitant, different personalities, then we move slower. So it really, you have to look at the whole child, and then you gauge your teaching to that. So we really have had no issues this year moving them from more being dependent on me to being independent. So we, start out the year, I do a lot of things with them, and then I slowly transition to them. Okay, now it's your turn. Read the directions. Tell me what you think you should do. And then by the end of the year, they're able to do that on their own. So I've tried to make it an easy transition for them.
So it is interactive. I mean, you're not just following a curriculum, and everybody, you're taking time for the kids so that you can make sure you're bringing the whole class together. Nobody's getting left behind, and they have that sense that you care about them and you're encouraging them in their,
For sure.
That's so important in that transitional year, because for
It
them to
is.
be able to make that, great.
Yes, I'm always moving throughout the classroom. I'm always watching what they're doing. They're free to ask questions at any time. We do it obviously in an orderly manner, but I'm always listening. I always take time, hey, if they need more time, I'm never pressuring them that this has to be done by 10 o'clock. If it takes more time and we go into, another class, I'll say, just stop right now. We'll move on, and then you'll have extra time later. So there really is no pressure. And I think sometimes where there's pressure, kids clam up and they're afraid. And so we don't have that here.
You have a very safe classroom.
We have a safe classroom.
It's like a family unit.
It
from
is.
what I see when I'm in there.
It is.
They giggle and tell jokes and
Oh my
ask
goodness.
questions and tell stories and cry if they need to. And
Yes. We
it
have
all
so
happens.
much fun.
yeah. All right.
And if something's bothering them, they will say, hey, can we stop? Can we pray? And we do it.
yeah,
So
That's great.
it's a good environment, I think.
I think so too. Questions. Let's see. Parker and Wes. Do we have any questions for Mrs. Bundy?
We actually have one for first grade, and then I do have a comment for Mrs. Bundy.
All right. Well, give me the first grade question.
Okay. This comment says, my son was just curious who his teacher would be for first grade.
Oh, well, I could be happy to tell them your son will have Mrs. Brovey. We are very excited. Many of you remember Mrs. Brovey was our first grade teacher. She became very ill. And so Mrs. Redshaw, who we just adore and love so much, she said, I don't really want to get back into teaching, but I really feel God's calling me to really step in for Mrs. Brovey. And so she stepped into that first grade, and she has been teaching, and she is looking forward to being at home with her horses and having Mrs. Brovey step back in. So in the fall, Mrs. Brovey will be the first grade teacher.
Very sweet girl.
Good, and we do have a comment for Mrs. Bundy. Mrs. Bundy is amazing. My daughter has really blossomed in her class this year. What I appreciate most is that if there is an issue or concern, it is brought to my attention right away so we can get to the bottom of it together. So, compliments to you.
We do. We try to communicate. There's no secrets. We we work together.
I love it. All right. Well, I think it's time. Why don't we share with you the video that will give us some background about our curriculum from Precept Marketing and BJU Press. They will share with you some details of what makes our curriculum stand out.
Hi, my name is Rude Stillvort. I am the Northeast Territory Manager for Precept Marketing Group. I represent BJU Press educational materials in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and New England. In my 30 years with Christian education, folks have often asked me, why BJU Press? What makes BJU Press so wildly different than any other publisher? During my time in Christian ed, there are a lot of things that I looked at, but there are 4 main concentrations that I would say make up BJU Press that set it apart from any other publisher. The first one is biblical worldview shaping. A lot of publishers do what they would call biblical worldview, but what makes BJU Press unique is the fact that every course at every grade level is designed to help the student to think in such a way that they're processing English, math, science, history through the idea of where does all of this fall in line with God's truth and how we interact with God's truth. The second aspect of concentration with BJU Press is academic rigor. What really attracted me as an administrator to BJU Press was the fact that they use both national standards and state standards on which to build their academic resources for each particular area of subject study. They use a research-based approach to building every new edition. So it's not only what was considered academic in previous years, but also we're looking at new teaching methods. We're looking at other academic studies that have taken place, not only academic studies, but how students learn. And so as a new edition comes out, all of those things are being used to determine what is the right academic rigor level for a particular grade level in a particular subject area. The third aspect of BJU Press that really attracted me to BJU is critical thinking. When you take biblical worldview and you take academic rigor and you pull the two together, you're going to have a lot of questions. And I think the one thing that I enjoyed most about BJU Press as an administrator was that it led my students to higher ordered thinking. We were trying to get our students to look at things from another perspective, to be real problem solvers, not just information gatherers and producing more information just for memorization. I wanted my students to see a problem and recognize that there were different ways of solving that problem. BJU Press leads a student through those higher order types of thinking by using analyzation, compare and contrast, and creative type thinking that will help them to be able to see things from different perspectives. The last aspect that I find really important when it comes to BJU Press is they look at technology solutions to answer the problems or the issues for today's educational student. What are the current technologies that are out there that we can utilize to help parents, teachers, and students become the person that God has called them to be in this particular time period of our age? BJU has resources that are built specifically to help teachers be better presenters, to be able to be better prepared for when they stand in front of the classroom. But on the parent side and on the student side, BJU Press has provided ebooks, different websites that have been fully vetted, and another website called afterschoolhelp.com where students can go and find the help that they need outside of the classroom to help them prepare for that next day, that next step, that next grade level that God is preparing them for. When I think of BJU Press, the one thing that I would say really helps them to stand apart from any other publisher is the fact that they consider all 4 of these aspects in designing and building a curriculum that your student can use to be the young man or the young lady God's called them to be.
Well, welcome back. And we have with us now, we have Mrs. Debbie Roberts, who has a unique position as a teacher here at CCCS because she gets to teach elementary students as well as middle school students. Although we're going to kind of start out talking about some of her elementary classes. So, Mrs. Roberts, how many years have you taught here at CCCS?
I was going through it the other day, and I have been here for 4.5 years.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I had that extra half.
Yeah, because you came mid-year,
did.
half, like a
Yes.
bonus.
I did.
Yeah. Well, to come in mid-year and then return, I guess is a good thing.
Yes, I was very excited.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, how you ended up coming to Calvary Chapel Christian School, your background, your education, kind of a little bit of how you were led here, yeah.
Well, it was interesting, of course, of coming here. Becky and I have known each other for a long time, Mrs. Cannon.
Yeah.
And I worked at another Christian school, but then I had moved from there. And so this actually opened up. I saw it on Facebook that you were looking for a teacher. So I was able to apply and call her. And she was
Excited.
excited.
So your educational background, where did you go to school? How did you?
I went to school at it was Waynesburg College at the time. It's now a university. So I graduated with an elementary education degree.
That's wonderful that you were able to attend a Christian university.
Yes.
You got the whole biblical background as well as the academics.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the elementary, you teach history to students, and I know that is a favorite for you. Can you tell us a little bit about how your history classes run and some of the things that the students might learn?
Okay. Yes. Well, they start out with the curriculum. We start out with the first Americans, and then we go into European exploration. So the kids really enjoy that. And with that, we go into the 13 colonies in the settlement and going into the how America was founded in the Constitution and people's rights.
Yeah.
And then we go into the Civil War, World War I, World War II, and then the new millennium.
Oh,
So
neat.
it's really a nice curriculum. I really enjoy teaching history.
I think I remember seeing a video this year that was on Facebook or maybe it wasn't on Facebook. Maybe Mrs. Lewis took the video. But it was of the second graders. What is it that they were reciting?
The preamble.
The preamble,
Yes.
second graders.
Wow.
They
Yes.
memorized the preamble.
They
That
did.
is amazing. I don't know how you got them to do that. That's wonderful.
By hopping on one foot and saying it and doing all kinds of activities. I laid we actually did some hopscotch.
Yeah.
And so I laid out the preamble on the floor, and so we said the word as we went along. And so a little bit of memory there.
So you have
memorization.
an active classroom as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I like to do projects. I like to keep things where students are collaborating with one another and
Yeah.
building the rapport and teamwork and those skills that are needed for future
Right.
classroom activities.
Well, and that reminded me when you just said that too, something neat extra that you brought specifically to the school and the students. Well, one, we're blessed to have your husband, right? Pastor Kevin, he comes in and he teaches art. But then the
Yes.
students also send their art to
Necessity.
the Fort Necessity
Yes.
contest, right? And we've had
Yes.
students win.
We've
actually.
had several students win first place. We've had mentioning honor.
Yeah.
We had second place at one
Wow.
point. We've had a lot of students win the art contest,
Yeah.
and it's absolutely, I would think, one of their favorites to be able to enter. They're very excited about it. And then
Yeah.
we do one where it's just the students in the classroom together, so
Yeah.
where the teachers get to pick.
Yeah.
So where
Yeah.
their names aren't showing, so they
Right.
just get to show
Yep.
their drawing and be able to, just feel proud about what they accomplish.
Right.
So it's awesome.
It's neat.
It is neat.
You guys are a neat team, that's for sure.
I'm excited that in a time where, especially American history is kind of being set aside, we don't know much about our forefathers, even our foundation, which is Christian based.
Absolutely.
To be able to bring that back into the classroom and show, listen, our country was founded upon biblical values, and to be able to share that with the kids so that they have that history, knowing that we are a Christian nation. That's how we were founded.
Absolutely. And we do go over that. And it's exciting to be able to share that part of it.
Yeah.
And so we do talk a little bit, into depth of information of, what's happening in our world today, that they're able to share and really understand it.
Wow. That's great, Debbie.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Thank
really
you.
love it. Thank you.
Well, and so also you are a middle school teacher. So as we transition into our middle school grade level, let me share with you just a little bit about the middle school and how it works. Our middle school is set up as a traditional middle school, high school. The students change classes, they have lockers, they have several teachers. However, what is unique is because of our small atmosphere here, students can really be placed at their academic levels. So you really start to see a break off in that 7th and 8th grade year. You may have a 7th grade student who is ready for pre-algebra, and you may have a 7th grade student who is ready for fundamentals of math, both 7th grade maths. And so the students will be placed in the class with their ability. So it helps struggling students to be where they're at and move forward, and it helps maybe advanced students move ahead. We also, really important, we run the middle school, high school as what's considered a disciple school. So, we don't necessarily accept every student who applies into the program. They do have to go through an application process. Part of that includes a family interview. And we do not accept students who have been expelled from their previous school, or maybe they have some serious previous discipline issues. Or even if a student in the family interview might say, I do not want to come to school here, my mom's making me. Well, okay, we're going to help you out because we're not going to accept you. And I think because we are very careful, it helps give that really sweet atmosphere that we do have in the middle school, high school. The students are just absolutely precious. So middle school. So this past year, Mrs. Roberts was wonderful because she had been teaching elementary for several years. Well, she was extra wonderful.
Extra wonderful.
Because I went to her at the end of last school year and says,
Yeah.
Mrs. Roberts, I need somebody who can also teach middle school English and some science, and I know you love your elementary classroom, but would you please help us? And she was like, let me pray. And I think a few parents cried, but she said yes. And so we are so thankful for that. But can you tell us a little bit about your experience this year?
Well, my experience was definitely challenging but exciting. I actually enjoyed the fact that I had the privilege and the opportunity to teach in both departments. So I was able to get to know all of the students, and it really was just a wonderful time. Reminiscing on some of the stories that we had in the past, seeing the kids that I actually have taught before, and to teach them again was a pleasure. So it was very,
It's good.
it was a great year.
Yeah.
It was. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So that transition worked for you, okay? I mean, I
did.
remember at the beginning, it was like, oh my gosh, but and God bless you for just your flexibility and your willingness to, meet the need. I mean, that's just tremendous. And I know the kids were really blessed from it. And,
Yeah.
You did a great job.
So last question would be, do you feel like the middle school students that you're teaching, that they're going to be ready to step into that high school zone here at CCCS?
I believe they are. I know that a lot of the students, they do get that experience where, with the smaller classrooms, you're able to give them a lot of one-on-one and different things to help them transition. So that, I believe that they are in just keeping up with their work and everything. We do a lot of teaching on responsibility and helping them and seeing them to work hard and to motivate them and to help them during that time, knowing that being able to teach that God is the center, knowing that I'm able to share that and to give them that is the main key, that they'll be able to succeed in life. And that was really a lot of my philosophy in education. So, and that actually, when I had to give my philosophy of education, that was what I stated, was that God was the key to succeed.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Putting him first in your life.
Yeah.
So not only do they grow academically, but they grow spiritually as well, which is something that you just love to see them blossom and to have those aha moments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's an awesome thing to see.
it is. Wow, my goodness. Thank you so much for just being willing. You and your husband are faithful. We really have just
Yeah.
watched you
Kevin,
be so
God bless
faithful.
him.
You and Pastor Kevin, and we appreciate you guys so much. So as we transition into our high school teachers from here, we would love to share with you a few videos. We've asked a few of our previous graduates to share a video testimony about graduating from CCCS.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I am a 2012 graduate of Calvary Chapel Christian School. I started going there in preschool with my twin brother, and we went the whole way through 12th grade. Upon graduating from Calvary Chapel, I went to Duquesne University and got my PharmD, and I'm currently a licensed pharmacist practicing as a community pharmacist in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I have a lot of fond memories going to Calvary Chapel. Probably the one that had the biggest impact on me was the family-like environment. We were all so close as students. One of my favorite memories from Calvary Chapel is my senior year, going with all the other seniors on a mission trip to Guatemala with some of our teachers. The memories made there I will take with me for the rest of my life.
Hi, my name is Jacob Sahadi, and I graduated Calvary Chapel Christian School in 2016. After high school, I attended college for 2 years, and during that time, I decided to fulfill a lifelong goal of joining the military. So in 2018, I joined the United States Marine Corps. The education that I received from Calvary Chapel Christian School has prepared me both academically for my military occupational specialty as a CH-53 Echo helicopter crew chief, and spiritually for the challenges that I face day to day. The in-depth Bible teaching that I received from Calvary Chapel has molded the way that I think and live my life. I'm truly blessed and thankful to have been a part of such a great school and church.
This is our middle school, high school classroom area. All middle school, high school classrooms are down this hallway. This is where students in grades 6 through 12 will spend most of their day. And these are the student lockers. Obviously, every student has their own locker. So I thought we would just take a quick look into some of the classrooms. So this room is a dual classroom. In the morning, it is Debbie Roberts' classroom. And Mrs. Roberts teaches the 6th through 8th grade English and 6th grade spelling. And then in the afternoon, it becomes our science lab. So this is where Mrs. Gutowski and Miss Williams have their science lab time for chemistry and biology and physics. So this is what this room is used for. We're going to go on down the hallway. And our next room on the left would be Miss Kiera's room. Miss Kiera teaches middle school Bible as well as reading and some high school vocabulary. So this is Miss Kiera's room. You will notice that all of the rooms are equally decorated. Our next classroom is Mr. Kramer, and Mr. Kramer, he teaches the middle school and high school history, as well as some middle school math classes. And this is Mr. Kramer's classroom. And also you'll notice up on Mr. Kramer's wall is some volleyball pictures because he is also the girls' volleyball coach. So again, this is Mr. Kramer's room. We will go on down, and our next classroom here on the right is Mrs. Shepik. And Mrs. Shepik, she teaches the high school English as well as French class. So this is where the students in high school English or French are with Mrs. Shepik. And we'll go on down the hallway now to the next classroom, which is Mrs. Gutowski, or as the students like to call her, Mrs. G. Mrs. Gutowski teaches the upper level math and sciences for high school, and the AP academic classes as well happen in here with Mrs. Gutowski. So this is Mrs. Gutowski's classroom. And on down the hallway, on our right is Miss Williams' classroom. Miss Williams teaches middle school and some high school math and science classes. And she's also the girls' basketball coach. So this is Miss Williams' classroom. Back there in the corner are the two class guinea pigs, Mr. Fitz and Penelope. And in the corner, she has her Calvary Lions private investigator section where the students do a lot of really fun hands-on science investigation. So, Miss Williams. And this classroom is Mrs. Dewar. Mrs. Dewar teaches our high school literature classes, 7 through 12 actually. So, this is Mrs. Dewar's classroom. Most schools combine their literature and English classes. However, there's so much that needs to be covered here. So we did separate those classes out. So they actually have English every day and literature 3 days a week. So that is a little snapshot of our middle school, high school. Thanks for coming along. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour of our middle school and high school classrooms. As you can see, each teacher puts their heart into their classroom. So they've done a beautiful job with them. Now we're back and we're transitioning into high school. So we're actually, Pastor John, you teach some of our high school classes.
I do.
Yeah. And as senior pastor here at Calvary Chapel Brownsville, why don't you share why you feel it is important for children to have a biblical worldview education. Okay.
Yeah, so I think we're getting a little signal back there. So we've got a question.
Parker and Wes, that you all cannot see, but they're so cute. They're sitting in the back. They have a table and little microphones. They look very professional.
People are waving their hands.
Wes will be up here later. But I guess we have comments or questions, right, Wes? Parker?
Okay. Yeah, so this is from one of her, Mrs. Roberts' students, actually. She's very helpful when I need extra work on a particular subject. When I don't understand something, she'll provide a worksheet to clear up any questions I have. So that's pretty cool. So.
Aw.
And I have one as well. Middle/high school students treat the elementary students as little brothers and sisters. This creates great mentorship at the school. So very good compliments there.
Yeah.
Oh, that is true. We do have some great interaction. I know Mrs. Gutowski takes her chemistry students many times and will bring the elementary students up into the lab. And the high school students will actually work with the younger students doing some science experiments. And yeah, and also some of our, I think, high school literature classes, they go to kindergarten and read with students as well. So yeah, it is pretty neat. Thank you very much, Wes and Parker. All right, so Pastor John, tell us.
Tell
As
us.
senior pastor of Calvary Chapel, Brownsville, why is it important that children have a biblical worldview education?
Yeah. So, to me, a worldview is the lens by which you see things. And as you're looking through that lens, if it's tainted or it's been biased without God, the things of God, then your worldview is going to have purpose. It's certainly not going to have hope. And I think that a view that is based on reasonable, it's going to be not from the Bible, will give you God's point of view. And in God's point of view, you're going to see things the way God sees them. You're going to understand why man is like he is, the fact that he was created in the image and likeness of God. He's fallen from that image and likeness of God. And God loves us too much to leave us like that. So, he sent his son to die for us so that we can be brought back into that image and likeness of God. We can understand God. We can understand who we are because we understand who God is. And then, two, that brings us into a purpose and reason. And most of all, for hope, that we understand that God has a plan for us, that, he hasn't left us, and he's got just a wonderful plan that's continuing to unfold. So again, a Christian worldview helps you to see things from the lens of God, whereby you would have reason, understanding, and certainly hope. Without that, void of God, you don't know who you are, you don't know why you're here, you don't know where you're going, and so as a result, we have so many kids that there's no purpose. Why am I here? Why do I exist? I'm not going anywhere. So from the Christian worldview, biblical worldview, the Bible answers those questions. So I really believe those things are important.
That's great. So, how involved and hands-on are you with the school, actually?
Hands-on. I'm a people person. I love being with the kids. I mean, my classes are interactive. I appreciate their questions. I like to just, especially, when times are, just sit down at the table with them and just look at them face to face and answer their questions and be interactive. One of the things I do at the beginning of the year, I literally take a poll and say, what are the questions that you have? Tell me some things that you're bothered with, questions that you might have, answers that you're looking for, and just I write those things on the board and spend time, looking at what the Bible has to say about those things. Interactive. I care about what what they have to say, how they feel. Yeah, even the little guys, I'll step into the cafeteria and walk in and say, hey, what are we having for lunch today? And sit down and, oh, look, we got fish. Or look at you got. Look at your mommy packed for you. Look at this is Jell-O. Oh, this is my favorite. Look at here's some chocolate, and they love it. I come in, sit with them, and I think for them to kind of have an interaction with the pastor that he's not like aloof, but I'm so hands-on definitely.
Yeah, every day.
Every day.
You teach elementary chapel.
Elementary chapel, high school.
Actually, you teach every K through 12 chapel.
Yeah.
Every week.
That's one of the highlights of my day. I really enjoy.
Nice.
And for me, it's helping them to even understand how to study, not just teaching them. Here's how you study. Here's you're putting tools in their hands for their own, so they can study to show themselves approved. Workmen who need not be ashamed can rightly divide the word of truth. And putting those tools in their hands so that they can do that. Again, interactive.
Right.
So important. So yeah, I'm in it. I love it.
You're in it.
It's great. I believe in it.
Well, certainly the high school is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Mr. Kramer's
How about
class
that,
is a lot of fun. The kids love Mr. Kramer. They
Yeah.
do. So, how long have you taught here, Mr. Kramer?
I will be finishing up my 14th year.
14th year.
Yeah.
That is so fun.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get here to be a teacher?
Well, I spent 6 years in the Marine Corps, and that last year in the Marine Corps, we were at a retreat, and God called me to be a teacher. And so when I got out, I went to Fairmont State as technology education teacher, which was kind of shop with engineering, and and this is actually K through 12. I don't even know if that was if you knew that, my certification. And then I taught 7 years in the public school, and then in the bulletin, I kept on seeing that they needed a 7th grade teacher, and well, sure hope they find that person, and it was me. And so, and Miss Kira was in that 7th grade class. So,
Yeah.
You have 3 girls that have gone through the school, are current. Well, you've got one of them that's still here, right?
yes,
Right.
one is here,
Wow.
and 2 are currently enrolled at Waynesburg University.
Yeah.
Yes, and so it was pleasure being able to watch through all the years them from kindergarten on. Actually, Kate was in 1st grade when I started.
Yeah.
To watch them and to be here and to watch and to know their teachers, know all their friends. That was just a pleasure to be able to be a part of that in all those years.
So in all these years, you've taught most of the subjects, right?
Yes.
You started out, I think people will be shocked to hear, teaching English.
I taught English to Kira. It wasn't my best. Yes, I've taught, I think I have taught every subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that you do so exceptionally well is your ability to teach math, especially to those students who really have a hard time being able to understand math. Who maybe have failed previous math. They get in your class. So why do you think that
your
is?
secret.
Yeah.
Well, I struggled in math when I was in school, and it wasn't until my 9th grade year when I got into drafting that I was able to understand fractions and decimals and be able to connect those dots. So, and especially the students that we get that are homeschooled, seems like that's one of their weaker areas, are the fractions and the decimals, and just to try to be able to have them relate back and forth and go back and forth, and then in the classroom we are consistently practice on whiteboards, so I can look over their shoulder and I can see what they're doing. They're not, it's hard to hide.
Yep.
And that's what I want. I want to continue to, we have to learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. And Rachel that just talked, that was one of my students in 7th grade that I taught pre-algebra to. And my daughters, as they have went through our math program here, they've excelled when they went to college, teaching some of the other friends math, combined with, all of our teachers, the math curriculum here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even Kate especially. I mean, I had her in my class, and just from the spiritual, there was times where I was out of town, and I enjoy picking on some of the students, picking them and asking them to cover my class. And some of the lessons that she taught while I was gone were just the students remember those things, and just her ability to be able to present herself, to be able to share, facts and figures and emotions, just tremendous.
I tell people that our Bible curriculum here, it's basically college level. And my daughters, I know that when they would go to church camp, the counselors are asking them questions. And even from a young age of 1st grade, 2nd grade, they would visit a church and they would know more than the Sunday school teachers. And that's a blessing to our school and our church.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you also fill you fill many roles here. Yeah. And one of the other roles that you fill is you are the volleyball coach, the girls' volleyball coach.
Yes.
And how many years have you coached that here?
We've had our team for 6 years, and so I've coached for 6 years.
Yeah.
Then our first year, we actually started practicing in the mulch I think Kate still has a couple scars on her knees.
At our old building.
In Fredericktown.
Yeah, we were
Oh
in
my
the mulch practicing, and we didn't have a facility to even practice it.
we didn't.
Our balls were zebra striped and like little things like
Tether
this.
balls.
And that's where we started into. And both Kate and Allie both have played volleyball in college now.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
So tell us, a last question here. Why do you see sports as an important part of a student's life and development?
You know, it's a lot of our students, they come here, and to have that extra interaction with the people around them. And it's not just our sports. I believe our theater program now has reached out into that also. But you're interacting. You are learning how to control your anger. You're learning how to. You learn more from losing than from winning.
Right.
And our students are going to go into the world. And they're going to go to jobs, and not everything's going to go their way.
Right.
And how are they going to conduct themselves when they are in those situations?
Yeah.
And I believe in the relationships. I think our girls. I've seen our girls come from losing games. I'm not even. I'm saying basketball also, and they have more fun than probably some of those teams that won.
Yeah.
On our way home, they just enjoy themselves, and they love those memories they've had with our sports program.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we have any other questions, comments from Wes or Parker in the back?
We do, yes.
Okay.
Do you have elective classes such as cooking or shop at the school?
We do have elective classes. We do offer cooking. We offer some computer application electives. We offer musical theater. Greg Vizza, who is in the back and behind all of this, he offers some audio and visual tech classes so students can learn how to do what's happening here behind the scenes. We also have student worship teams. And if a student shows up and they have a guitar, but they have no idea how to play it, they're going to learn how to play the guitar and play with the band. So we do have extracurricular activities. And I don't know if I'm forgetting any.
Technology education.
Technology education, Mr. Kramer does that, yeah.
You guys are always building something. You're out there with power saws and drawing.
Well, they build the set for our theater program.
We built the sets for the theater last year, and we were helping with them for this year.
Yes.
Choir. We have choir. Yeah. So, yeah, we do have some electives.
And just one more question. What time does school begin and end for middle and high school?
We open the doors at 8:15 for students to start arriving off of buses or drop off. School officially starts at 8:30, and the last bell rings at 3:10. All right. All right. Do you have anything else that you want to share with us, maybe?
Wait, I want to ask him a question.
Yeah.
So, how have over these 14 years? My gosh, that's just awesome. Maybe a couple of your favorite memories, or certainly, how have you seen us grow? As a school, as a staff.
In our summers,
Yeah.
we would be struggling to build a new classroom and to we had to bust the kids away because our play yard was mixed up. We would
Messed up.
we would have to come up with new rules because our playground was so small, and just to see what we have now, and just my classroom was outside of the cafeteria for all those years, and the difference is how our school has just grown and how just become more professional. It is funny how just that transformation of our school from what we have been come, let's buy this house and we're going to make this into a classroom. And, we had to walk across the street to get to the office. You put your coats on to go to cafeteria. We are blessed now.
Yeah.
It has changed so much.
Yeah.
Yes, it has changed.
Well, we're so appreciative of you. I mean, I know you know that, but you know that we love you. You are we're so blessed to have you.
Amen.
You are faithful, so thank you. So we're going to actually look at the next graduate video, which happens to be your two oldest girls, right? Kate and Allie.
Hi, my name's Kate, and I graduated from Calvary Chapel in 2018.
Hi, my name's Allie, and I graduated from Calvary Chapel in 2019.
My favorite part about attending Calvary was all of the teachers that I had and playing volleyball there.
My favorite part about Calvary Chapel was being able to play sports.
I am currently a sophomore at Waynesburg University majoring in nursing, and I also help my dad coach the volleyball team at Calvary.
I'm currently a freshman at Waynesburg University majoring in nursing, and I also play on the Waynesburg women's volleyball team.
We are very thankful we had the opportunity to go to school at Calvary Chapel.
Well, we are excited to introduce to you the best for last, I guess they say, our final guest teacher this evening, Darcy Gutowski.
Thank you.
We are so excited. So tell us, how long have you been teaching here at Calvary Chapel Christian School?
This is my 9th year.
9th year.
Yeah, 9 years.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of students,
You started
wonderful
when you
students.
were like 15, is that?
No, not quite. But I was just thinking about in those 9 years, the students that I've seen graduate, and just how proud I am and honored, to have been a part of their experience. So.
Well, you were really an answer to prayer for us way back in 2011 and 12 because we did not have a solid high school math teacher. And actually, we had students who were seniors, which was Rachel Danko was one of those seniors that you all got to see her video earlier. And I was so grieved, and we were just praying and asking God, Lord, please help us. We knew she wanted to go to be a pharmacist, and we did not have it, and God provided. And I actually teared up the first time you came in the classroom and I met you because I was so overwhelmed and so excited that God brought you because just of the knowledge you had. Maybe you could share kind of your educational background.
Sure. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Mathematics and a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry. I was a dual major in college, and I just wanted to learn more about those particular subjects. I always loved them, even as a child. So I just pursued them in higher education. I didn't know that I would be a teacher, but I spent some time tutoring in a math lab and, working, closely with my peers in college and helping them, and even my own husband, pass a few classes or two. But it's a great privilege to be a part of this school.
Yeah, well, you are so needed, and we love. So can you, one of the questions, actually kind of a funny question that's not true, maybe I'll clear that up too, but we hear often from parents that I can't send my child to Calvary Chapel Christian School because they won't get a diploma. It's not going to be real. They'll have to take their GED, and which is not true. Our diploma is exactly the same as any other diploma. But parents wonder, will my student be ready academically for college? So if they've attended here and maybe their major is they want to go into pharmacy or they want to go into nursing or pre-med, do you feel like the coursework that we offer prepares them?
Yes, absolutely. It definitely prepares them. One of the privileges of having a small school that we have is we truly can tailor the curriculum to meet the needs of students, whatever end of the spectrum they are. We've had students that transfer here, and sometimes they're math phobic. But in the end, they're ready to go to college and take college algebra, and I love it when they come back and tell me that that was one of their favorite classes. That's happened several times.
Nice.
And also when students are pursuing things that are, heavier in math, maybe engineering or pharmacy, something like that, I definitely strive to push them, to learn more things academically and reach for, higher things in math.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about, you have two boys in school here, and Mr. Kramer, three of his girls, and certainly as a teacher here, you're aware behind the scenes, up front, what's going on with the curriculum, the level of education that the kids are. You feel confident. I would think as a teacher, you want your kids to be in the place where they're going to learn the most, have the most time spent, with them, so that. And what is your level of confidence with our school, and even in regards to your kids, with that? Application.
Well, I'm definitely very confident in having my children here. And, one of the things that I think we strive for in math and science, throughout our high school program and middle school, I work closely with those teachers too, is critical thinking. Those are the things that you strengthen through math and science. Your ability to think logically, to think for yourself. And, we live in an era where data can, just be put in front of us, and people can twist things any way they want to. And I just encourage our students to think for themselves, and you do that through math and science, and it's definitely a thread here in our school. So,
and you even teach a Bible class. I've got some of your kids that come to my Bible class, and especially I can remember your teaching through Proverbs and some of those things, which are very practical, especially with the girls. Very much have impacted the girls. And share a little bit about that experience that you have with your Bible class.
Well, I definitely love to have that interaction with them, that it's not all just math and science, but that we get to talk about what's most important, and that's the Lord, and a commitment to Him, to knowing Him and knowing His Word. That's really, where you're going to find guidance that you need, and the confidence to be who you're supposed to be in life. And I just love to have that interaction with them. For sure.
Well, I love that about you, that there's such a beautiful balance between the academic and the spiritual, and how you're able to tie those together so well. People that tend to be very academic are very shallow with spiritual things, and vice versa. But you bring a very beautiful balance for the kids, on a level that they comprehend, they grasp. And I've known, again, some of your kids come to my Bible class, and it's a blessing. So it's great. So also too, your purpose and your personal philosophy of the upper level math and sciences for the students.
Yeah, definitely. Once again, that would be just that they would be able to think critically.
Yeah,
for sure. To be able to synthesize information and really investigate whether or not claims are true. Not just to take things from the experts per se, but to be them. So that's what I'd like to see in them.
Good, that's great. Still my turn. Can I do this?
Sure. Yeah.
So, share with us about your vision for the students in high school. I think we kind of we're touching on some of those things, and so share a little bit more about your vision for the kids.
Sure. In addition to critical thinking, I know I keep mentioning that, but it is truly so important.
Yeah.
I want them to be confident in their ability to think on their own.
Yeah.
Especially going into an academic setting, which can be very intimidating for students. But, if they can come up with their own ideas and support them, I think that's what I want for them. In addition, personally, I encourage them to respect authority, in whatever setting they're in, their job, in their sports teams, in a classroom, at home. And also, and last but not least, that they would do everything they do as unto the Lord.
Yeah. Wow. And you play guitar and sing too. Wow. You just do it all. Wow. Praise the Lord.
All right. Do we have
Any questions?
From Parker or Wes in the back?
Yes, we have 3 comments.
Okay.
The first one is, Mr. Kramer is great. My son struggles sometimes socially with asking for help and things, and he feels very comfortable around Mr. Kramer. So kudos to Mr. Kramer. The next one is, this was our first year at CCCS. My child was in middle school moving to high school next year. We were so impressed with the personal relationships the teachers and administration build with the students. They are wonderful about working with students that have different learning styles. Coming to CCCS has truly been a blessing for all of us. The last one here is, there's so much I could say about how blessed we are to be here at CCCS. The academics are stellar. The spiritual growth is life-changing. The teachers are not only professionally prepared, but have a heart for God and genuinely care about the students. Our sports programs promote team effort and godly attitude. Both the teachers and coaches lead by example, having Christ in their lives. It is much more than just a school. It's a family. The upcoming school year, my son is going to be a senior. In talking about graduation, he has already said that he loves being at CCCS so much that he doesn't want to leave.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone that are commenting and sharing your heart. That's so precious to us. And we love you all too so much. Yeah. Well, do you have any last thoughts before we go to our next video?
No, just that, it's a great thing to be a part of this school, and I'm happy to have my kids here, and,
Thank you for being a part of the school.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
All right, I guess we are going to look at another graduate video.
Hi guys, this is Justin. I graduated from CCCS back in 2014, directly after I came out to Marietta, California to study God's Word at Calvary Chapel Bible College. Graduated from there in 2016 and then again in 2018 with my bachelor's in biblical studies. Right now I'm blessed to be a worship leader at a local church, Calvary Chapel Hot Springs, and then I'm also still living on campus serving in our campus support department, where we do anything from security type needs to guest services, like giving people rides on the weekends when we have retreaters and stuff like that. I would definitely recommend CCCS for the foundation you're going to get in God's Word, right? You have some teachers there, especially Pastor John, that are going to shepherd and disciple you in God's Word. They're passionate about the gospel. There's nothing greater that we could do for ourselves than to study God's Word and to be equipped for ministry and for life, really. Our worth shouldn't be in the things of this world, but we should be setting our minds towards heavenly things and heavenly treasures, not on the things of this world. So definitely recommend CCCS.
Dear prospective parents, we highly recommend Calvary Chapel Christian School for your child's K-12 enrollment. We couldn't be more pleased with the school, from its overall ambience to its curriculum and teachers. The school, from the moment that you walk in, is full of beauty, spiritual life, compassion, safety, and academic focus. The teachers are focused on your child's full development as strong students, and development as kind and compassionate human beings and citizens. The academic curriculum is active and always ties back to spiritual and moral issues, qualities that are greatly needed in today's world. There are field trips, guest speakers, projects, and community engagements. You should see the classrooms. As educators in higher education, the classrooms are a learning style dream. Each is decorated to resemble unique learning environments, not the typical desk and chairs in a row. The class instruction is highly individualized, but at the same time, students are naturally encouraged to be supportive and helpful to one another. During the pandemic, the students literally didn't miss 1 ounce of instruction. The teachers were diligently prepared for that initial Monday with home learning packets and Google Learning environments. This is dedication and clearly demonstrated their focus and concern for your child. Students began to use Google Classrooms that initial week of closure and engaged in Zoom instruction with their teachers each day. Safety is paramount. In all honesty, your child is welcome into a learning environment where they are free to excel, grow, and prosper, free of bullying, free of anxiety, and free of any forms of intimidation. There aren't even locks on the lockers, and that says it all. They aren't even needed. Trust us, our daughter started at Calvary Chapel Christian School in 6th grade, and if we had to start over, we would have enrolled her from preschool on. Sincerely, J. Scott Bush and Dr. Emily Schweitzer.
Well, we are excited that we were able to share with you some of our teachers and a little bit about the academic program here at Calvary Chapel Christian School. And as we're nearing the end of our program, we would like to talk a little bit about some other things that CCCS offers, and that is sports is an area that we do offer in the middle school and high school. So I'd like to introduce, we have here on the stage with us Mr. Jason House, who is our school athletic director, and Coach Wes, who is also manning the back. That's the face behind the voice. Coach Wes, who is our boys basketball coach. So we are excited. So Mr. House, Coach House, I guess we're used to calling you that because you're also, this year, you served as the assistant coach for the Lady Lions basketball
Yes,
team.
I did.
Yeah. So tell us, Mr. House, can you share with our viewers what sports are currently offered at CCCS?
The sports we currently offer at CCS are girls volleyball, boys basketball, and girls basketball.
Okay, all right. And is CCCS part of a league, or how does that work?
We are part of a league. We are part of the Southwestern Christian Athletic Conference, and we play in the Southwestern Pennsylvania Athletic Alliance division.
Okay, okay. So we kind of have somebody that governs over us.
We do, yes. We are associated with the WPIL, which is the Western Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic League, and the PIAA, the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic Association.
Okay, all right. And why do you think it's important that we're associated with the league?
Well, it validates us as sports programs.
Okay.
You know, we are no different than any public school that offers sports programs out there. We are par for par right with them.
Right. Now, you have been involved in sports your entire life.
Yes.
Player and coaching, but it's your first year here. You came as our 5th grade teacher in the elementary, so you do currently teach here as well, and the students love you. But it's also your first year, actually just your first few months, actually, of stepping into that role of athletic director. So what is your heart, or what do you see the future of CCCS sports?
Well, I see the future of CCCS sports in taking another step as far as programs that we offer. We are going to offer a cross-country program this fall. We will not be affiliated with the WPIA or the PIA with that, but we will run as an independent. The WPIA and the PIA just realigned here in December for a 2-year cycle. So we're going to look to run for 2 years as an independent, and in 2 years from now, join the WPIO and the PIA and get in a conference.
Okay.
And also, we are looking to the league that we are in now. They are talking about establishing a bowling team for the winter sports and a boys baseball in the spring.
Oh,
Yes.
boys baseball. That we hear that a lot. People
Yes,
ask
a lot of questions.
if we have a baseball. So that may be in the future.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for all the work. I know you've been working very hard, actually,
It's
as
enjoyable.
our new AD.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And we appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
And so, Coach Wes, so you have the unique experience of being with Calvary Chapel Christian School as a coach the longest,
I do.
right?
Yes.
How many years have you?
This coming year will be my 8th season at the
8th
school.
season. Can you maybe share with the parents a little brief history of CCCS sports and the boys basketball team?
Sure. So we started in 2013. That was the first year that we had started the basketball program. It kind of just started by some students asking like, hey, you look athletic and did you play basketball? You probably could coach us. And my 21-year-old self was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. Didn't really know much about what I was getting into. I was a senior in college at the time, and I'll never forget the first practice that we had. I had the balls pumped up with air, and they just didn't get dribbled because the kids didn't know how to dribble. So we've worked a lot over the last 8 years to try to build up the program, and it's been a huge blessing, not only for myself, but I think for the entire community and school as well.
I think so. We love showing up and cheering. We do. So can you tell us what makes the boys basketball program unique from other programs?
I think that there are a couple things that sets it apart. There's definitely an individualized component where every player at the beginning of the season makes goals that I get to read, and they also set like kind of objectives on how they want to accomplish those goals. It's important for them to not just go into a season to just go into it. They should have some reasons behind what they're doing. So I've always been a firm believer in setting those goals. At the end of every season too, I do give them a personalized letter that kind of just gives some remarks about how they accomplish those goals throughout the season. I think the guys really enjoy having that communication from me. In addition to that, our practices are structured where we always have devotion and prayer to begin with. I truly view basketball as a platform to invest in their lives, and it's been a really cool opportunity. So we're definitely one family. We have triumphs and struggles together, but wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've noticed on game days, they come, they're dressed up, they got their ties on. I mean, it's like, go Lions. And it's really the support that we see from, the other students and the parents is such a blessing when you guys are, playing and everybody's rooting for you guys. And, and it's not always about winning. It's about building character. In fact, what's your verse that you guys,
Hebrews 12:11. It's about no chastening is joyful for the present, but afterwards it yields a peaceable fruit of righteousness.
So there's a lot of chastening going on there, huh? Just
a fair
but
share.
it yields
you could say
fruit,
that.
right?
Yes.
And that's what we're looking for, right? Fruit that will remain, right? So yeah. So how much can you bench press now? No, I'm kidding.
We'll leave that for later.
And you have a weight room. You guys have a workout room, and that's all like fully equipped. And
Yes, we have a weight room. It's at the end of the school hallway down there, and the team
so we
uses
just
it
got to get
frequently.
the staff out of there so the kids can use it.
Indeed,
No,
yep.
but so that's I see the kids down there working out, and we're working on outside, coming up with some more stuff out there, and cool. Cool.
Nice. Do either of you have anything else that you want to share about the sports program or that maybe we've missed?
I do, and we did miss something. When Wes had mentioned about he had, boys and girls players come to him and Coach Williams, who's the girls coach, and never touched the basketball before.
Yeah.
We are going to establish a youth program. Yes. It'll actually be for K to 7th grade.
Yes.
With the Fayette County Church League. So we are in the process of that. So that's another sports.
So our elementary students can play basketball next year for the Lions.
Yes, boys and girls.
Boys and girls. That's so exciting. I love it. Well, we're so thankful that you brought so many new programs and opportunities.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
So
we're
tell us
excited
a
too.
little bit about, because this is like you're teaching, you're coaching, a new
now you're the
environment,
AD.
and you for the most part, your coaching was all in the public, So this is you're in a Christian environment,
Like your first year.
right?
Yeah.
So tell us about the difference, because they asked me about the Christian worldview versus. Tell us a little bit about that reality.
The difference for me has been amazing. I always talk about, when I come in here, I get a little bit more full every day that I leave here. I've been coaching high school football in the public schools for the last 18 years. And this is my first year in a Christian environment. And as you had said, I'd helped coach the girls team as an assistant this year. And the Christ-like play and our Christ-like attitude is just amazing, even to the point where after football season ended in November this year, and our season ends, and then we give our kids 2 months off. Well, within those 2 months, I was around the girls basketball program and the team, and I go back to football in the middle of January, and my fellow my linemen and things who I coach, they're looking at me like, Coach House, what's wrong? You've changed. And I just smiled because I knew what it was. I knew it was God working through me. It's been a wonderful thing, and every day, as I say, I leave here, I'm a little bit more full. So that's how it's impacted me, and it's obviously being seen outside of here.
Yeah.
Well, and I think even I have to share, I know it's not sports related, but I have to share about Mr. House's first day with our parents because I think
It's
it's
the Lord.
amazing. So we moved Mrs. Roberts by faith, believing that this was God, from 5th grade to middle school, as we shared earlier. And its days are getting closer and closer. And of course, Mrs. Roberts, she's awesome. She's on to middle school doing her thing, and I have an empty 5th grade classroom, and I'm starting to really pray a lot. And as the days got closer, I was praying more and more and more, because I'm like, okay, Lord, I know this was you. I know. And it was literally meet your teacher night. Like Friday night, meet your teacher night. Monday morning is the first day of school. I went in and decorated the classroom because we didn't even have a teacher, but I was just trusting. I knew God was going to give us a teacher. We actually had an interview with this sweet lady. That day, we didn't hire her. I just felt like the Lord was saying no. And then I happened to be talking to Mrs. House in the hallway, his lovely wife, and she had mentioned, as a joke, really, she made a joke. Well, my husband is taught. Ha, ha, ha. And I was like, wait a minute, really? Do you think he would want to teach? And she said, are you serious? And I said, yeah. You know what? We need more guys around here. Yes. So I said, can you call him and see if he can come in like right now? And she said, yes. And so Mr. House came right down to the school, and I knew it was the Lord by the Holy Spirit. Like in that moment, it was the Lord. He said, this is the teacher. And he's a big guy, and I just hugged him. I was so excited. I gave him a big old hug, and I'm like, so you really want to do this? This is the Lord? He's like, yeah, I think it's the Lord. I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm like, are you ready? He said, I'm ready. I said, well, let me show you your classroom. And so I'm walking him down the hall, smiling the whole way. And we get to his classroom, and I open up the door, and he goes in, oh, this is nice. I said, great. Your parents are going to be here in 15 minutes.
It was legitimately 15 minutes. I think it was 9.
I'll see you after open house. You'll be great.
Us coaches, we're ready. We're prepared. So we
true.
step right in and we got to roll.
And it was, it's been actually a wonderful experience. He's a wonderful, the kids adore him, and it's been good. So
Thank you. Well,
anyway.
I definitely adore them also.
Yeah. And then I think we also, before we take questions from the back, if there's any, I think we also need to just talk for a quick minute about how wonderful our parents are. So we have this wonderful parent-teacher fellowship group that Raina Moss and Julie
Yeah,
Smiley,
they
they
are
head that
great.
up. And they take care of our teachers, and they take care of the students, and they are able to provide them with all these wonderful extra things. For example, we in this wonderful building that we love, we have heat, but we don't have air conditioning. And so, boy, that first year, woo, it was a hot one. So the PTF, they raised money, and they provided these amazing stand-up AC units for every single classroom. And so all of our students, they don't have to sweat in the afternoon. They can be comfortable, and they can learn, which is so, so wonderful. So I got to definitely kind of give a shout out
And
to
even
them.
for the sports program too, a lot of the parents step up, and the coaches. You guys are,
It's definitely family.
it's everybody participates, everybody helps. It's a church, it's a family. That's what we do, it's what we are, and just to be a part of that, is
And then I guess the last extracurricular activity that I think is important to mention that people ask about would be our musical theater program. So this 2021 school year was our second year of offering a musical theater program. And we have been so blessed to have some of the most amazing, talented staff that God has brought us. Mrs. Throckmorton, Shelby, she is our theater director, and she's been a part of local musical productions her whole life. She's very passionate about the program and just loves it. Jody Cannon is our musical director, and Mrs. Jody Cannon, she's also the school music teacher, the high school choir teacher, but she attended Duquesne University where she studied music. And then, of course, Kiera Cannon and Michelle Lewis are the dance choreographers for the theater program. They both have extensive backgrounds. Miss Lewis actually currently teaches dance at Machetta's Performing Center.
Yeah.
So we're blessed to just have all the people, and now God has provided us with a stage and a building that we can have theater. But an important note about the theater program is it's not, again, just about singing and dancing on the stage. We actually use our musical theater program as an evangelistic tool. Some Christian schools, I think the thought can be, last year, for example, we did Annie Jr., which was great. We all know Annie, right? Daddy Warbucks. And we did Annie Jr. And I think some people might ask, well, you're a Christian school. Why didn't you do the Easter story, or why didn't you do a Christian play? And our heart and thought behind that is that we want to bring the community and the family into the building. And then you were able to actually share. You were able to share scripture during that program after it had ended, and really just give people opportunity to be saved. So it's a really neat tool. Of course, this year it was really sad because we had to close, but we were supposed to do Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. But due to COVID, that got closed. But the show will go on. We will have Cinderella again for our upcoming school year. So do we have any questions in the back, Parker?
Yes, we actually have 4 comments. So
Okay.
we were pretty busy back here. But these first 3 are actually all for Mr. House, so better get ready.
Wow.
So Mr. House is also a fantastic 5th grade teacher. He's great with all the kids, and the boys especially have a great male role model in the elementary. Next one is Mr. House rocks. And then the final one is, my boys can't wait to have Mr. House. I hope he's here to stay. So I think we all hope he is here to stay as well. So, but the last comment is kind of like a full kind of overall with this whole thing. It says, under the circumstances, I think this has been a great open house with tons of information. You have answered a lot of questions that I just didn't even know I had. So, but yes, it has really been pretty cool on how this has all been set up and due to the circumstances. It's been pretty cool. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Parker. And Parker is he is interning from Waynesburg University, where Coach West was one of his professors last year, something, one of the two. Yeah. All right. Well,
and also, too, if you happen to tune in on Sunday or Wednesday night, you might just see Coach Wes up here teaching. He's a great Bible teacher. I'm blessed when I take off to have him fill in, and I know that many people are blessed in the teaching that he brings to the fellowship. So just all around great stuff. So thank you, Wes.
No problem.
all right. Well, in closing, we would really like to thank you for joining us tonight for Open House. And if you would like to set up a one-on-one interview time to just come in and ask your questions, see the school in person, you can call the school at 724-785-2777, or you can email us at cccs@ccbrownsville.org.
Lots of C's there. Yeah.
All right.
Come and see.
So I would like to close out the evening with a verse. It is our school verse, actually, Isaiah 54:13. That is a beautiful verse. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. It's so true that when you as parents trust our children in the hands of our Heavenly Father, He is so faithful to them and to us. Do you have any last remarks before you pray? Thoughts?
You know what? It's so much fun to serve the Lord. It's just such a joy to just be right in the center of His will. I think that is just the greatest. And to watch, everybody just being a part of everything that's going on, it just blesses my heart. And I know that it pleases God. It just really pleases God. So, yeah.
Wait, I thought of something.
What?
we forgot something really important. We have the best hot lunches out there.
Yeah.
Can I
we
just
do.
say that?
We do.
Our lunch lady,
Tracy.
oh my goodness. They're awesome. They are fresh and they're yummy. Yeah. Okay?
Church opens up Wednesday night. Come early.
Oh, and so once
We'll
we're
feed
back,
you.
not right now because we're not.
Soon.
We're not. But when our governor says
Pray for him.
go for it, then you can actually come have dinner on Wednesday nights that Miss Tracy cooks. And we
Over the
all
top.
eat it, and it's really good. And then, so we get our bellies nice and full, and then we come in the sanctuary, and Pastor John teaches, and then we get our spiritual
More
food.
full.
So good food. We can't forget the food. It's just important.
Christians like to eat. Yeah.
All right, I think it's
We're going to change our name to what we're going to. Oh,
no, don't.
Calvary
don't do
Chapel.
it.
Is that what we are? No, I'm kidding. All right, let's pray. Let's pray. God, thank you so much for all that you're doing, and certainly this is all you, God. This is something that you wanted to do from the beginning. You showed us, Lord. You gave us prophecy. You gave us word of knowledge. This is what you wanted us to do, and even talking about how we started way back in Fredericktown and classrooms that were in houses and bedrooms and closets, and Lord, how you blessed us so much with this facility. And God, we are humbled. We are so God, we're just excited about what you're doing. Thank you for our staff, just handpicked from you, Lord, and how they work together. And Lord, for our kids, our parents, Lord, we are truly just blessed. And to you, Lord, goes all the glory and the honor. Lord, we are so blessed because of who you are and what you do for us, Lord. And we just continue to look to you, Lord, for what you have for us. We believe that we're going to be opening up and having school and church and fellowship. And Lord, we're just looking forward to what you're going to do. And we do pray, God, that you would pour out your Spirit upon us, God, as we are looking to you right now, as we're waiting on you, Lord, that you would pour out your Spirit upon us, God, that we will come back to school and church just filled with you and longing for more of you. So Lord, have your way. And again, thank you for all that you're doing. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Mm-hmm.
One day I will see you face to face. I'll look into your eyes and rest in